So this is a tier list for all of the Whizbangs Workshop cards that just came out. They were all finalized today on Saturday, the 9th of March. So here we go. Toy Boat, worse than current options. The reason I have the tier named this way is you don't really care for Toy Boat in Pirate Rogue. It's just worse than current Pirate Rogue options. They have way too many good draw spells. You have Secret Passage, you have the Pirate that draws after you attack, which is decent, and you have Gear Shift. So this card just is worse than options already in the deck. Sonya Water Dancer, probably okay. This is a combo card that's meant to be used with, obviously as a combo piece, to set up combos and things like that. Combo hasn't really been found. People are consider playing this card, but it would be 8 mana to do anything with it, and it's just worse than if you were to just do regular Alex Rogue stuff. You can do a lot earlier. It's just not really that great of a card. Flash Sale, probably okay. You could probably play this in an even Death Knight, or even Paladin. You could probably play it like a Mech Paladin, to be honest, but Mech Paladin doesn't really exist. It's just an okay card overall. Chemical Spill, pretty good. This card might not be making the cut right now, but if we get Thaddeus Revert, Chemical Spill makes a Thaddeus OTK deck. It's just relatively interesting. And it's a fun card. Splendiferous Whizbang, expensive, value, useless. Obviously, it's not going to do anything really, but it's just a fun meme card, so it's how all it really is. Lena, Shop Manager, same thing. Just, there's no reason to play this card. It doesn't really do anything of value. You play it on 6, your opponent kills it, you can't do anything on 7. Play it on 10, you lose the game anyway, so just not really useful. I forgot to add a bad tier for cards that are just bad. Patchwork Pals, it's just a bad card. You pay 2-mana tax to play all your animal companions, and the 2-mana tax is 2 real. Doesn't matter if you're getting a 2-mana Huffer off of it, that's 4 mana. You don't play a 4-mana 4-2 charge. There's the 3-mana 4-2 charge that, it gives your opponent mana crystal, whatever. So it just doesn't really do anything. Clay Matriarch. Expensive, value, useless, but I think bad is more appropriate. It's just a bad card. It's a 6-mana 3/7 taunt that summons a 4/4 with elusive. So it doesn't fight for board very well. It's very expensive. It's just rough. It does not really do anything. Careless Crafter. 3-mana 3/3 Death Rattle, get 2 0-cost bandages that restore 3 health. So this card's actually very interesting. It's in the same boat as these cards, where it goes in a deck, but the deck isn't very good, to say the least. It goes in Damage Heal Priest or Overheal Priest. You get 0 mana 6 damage if it's Damage Heal, or you can just overheal your minions, things like that. It's just a good card in those decks. Raza the Resealed, auto-include. 5-mana 5/5, Battlecry for the rest of your game. Your hero power refreshes whenever you play a card. It's Anduin, but 3 mana cheaper. It's just a really good card. I definitely think this card will be an auto-include in a lot of decks. It's just very powerful. Spot the Difference. So this card isn't weak. Here, I'm going to add another tier, actually. Sorry. I'm going to call it Fine Card, No Home. It's mainly just I don't really know how to better explain it than that. It's a fine card, it's just the deck sucks. Fine Card, No Home / the deck sucks. It kind of is what it is. Tyrannosaur, bad card. Bad card. I didn't talk about Spot the Difference, sorry. Spot the Difference, No Minion Mage just doesn't really exist, but it's a pretty decent card in that deck, honestly. You get 2 3-drops. 3-drops are pretty strong overall, and for 4 mana, it's decent. Tyrannosaur, fucking awful card. Big Beast Hunter doesn't exist, and you wouldn't play this in the deck anyway, because if you're playing Big Beast Hunter, you want more expensive beasts than this, because more expensive beasts are better. So, yeah, Tyrannosaur just automatically a bad card. Hagatha the Fabled. Worse than current options is where I think you would put this card. So it just doesn't do anything. You don't play this in like a Shutterwalk Shaman because you would have to run 5+ cost spells in that deck, and you don't. So it just doesn't really have a home, and then obviously it's like a bad value card, so you wouldn't really play it outside of a Shutterwalk Shaman. Puzzle Master Khadgar. I think fine card, no home, / the deck sucks is probably fair, or maybe probably okay. Let's put it here. Reno Mage isn't really a deck, and I don't think you run this in Reno Quest Mage to begin with, so... Or in actual Quest Mage, it's probably just mediocre in that list, but it's a fine card. It just doesn't have a home. RC Rampage, bad card. 4 mana, summons 6 1/1s, any that can't fit. Give the rest +2/+2. Obviously, it's fucking bad. I mean, like, it's way too expensive for its effect. The 1/1s don't have a rush. They don't fight for the board right away. The only combo that really goes with this is the location, but you have better options for the location because you have Buzzard, and this is also bad with Buzzard because it's 6 mana. Just a bad card. Corridor Sleeper, bad. We know this card sucks, so I don't really need to... sorry, people don't like when I say I don't really need to explain why a card sucks when we know it sucks. So, it's a 1 mana 3/5 that only does something after it's awoken, but you still need another turn for it to do anything, and token decks don't want a card like this because it doesn't help them win the game, and it's too slow for slow decks because, obviously, it's just bad. Dr. Stitchenew, expensive, value, useless. I mean, you play it on 6, you get a 5/5, and then a 3/3, and then a 1/1 on average, or 1/2, I guess. It's just a bad card. Like, it doesn't do anything. You don't run this in any deck whatsoever. Even Death Knight never plays this deck. Rainbow Death Knight doesn't really exist, and you don't play this deck. It's just mid. It's just a mid card. Sure, it's really sticky, but, like, why would you play this over a card that actually fights for board? A card that actually kills your opponent, for 6 mana. It's just, yeah. Wind Up Sapling. Worse than current options, I think I would say. You don't really need... It's not a bad card on its own. It just doesn't make the cut in, like, any kind of Druid deck is mainly what it is. 2 mana, 2/1, tradable, Battlecry, Refreshal Mana Crystal, trade to upgrade. Just doesn't make the cut anywhere is all you really say. Califero, expensive, value, useless. I mean, it's 8 mana, 6/5. That's like a combo piece, but like a bad one, so yeah. Workshop Janitor, 5 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, view, control location, draw 2 cards. I think this is probably just a bad card. I mean, 5 mana, 5/5, draw 2 cards would probably not see play anyway, and then it also has a condition, so I don't think this card is very good. It's just understated. You wouldn't play this anyway. Or it's not, yeah, it is understated, actually. 5/5 is understated. It's usually 5/6 or 6/5, but yeah. Caricature Artist. Draw a minion that costs 5 or more. Give it a funny mustache for 4 mana, I think it's just a bad card. 4 mana, 3/4, draw 1 card. Doesn't do anything. So, yeah. I mean, it's just understated, has a mediocre effect. Yeah, it tutors a specific card, but who the fuck cares? If you really need it, just draw your deck. It's better. You're better off just drawing your deck. Umpire's Glove. Fine card, no home, the deck sucks. Umpire's Grasp. I hate the name because umpires don't wear mitts, but whatever. 3 mana, 3/2 weapon, Death Rattle, draw a demon, and reduce its cost by 2. This is just a good card. It's actually just a good card. The issue is, where the fuck do you play this? You can't play it in like an aggro Demon Hunter because they don't exist. You can't play it in Big Demon Hunter because Big Demon Hunter doesn't exist. It's just a unfortunate card, Jungle Gym, auto-include. This card's fucking OP as shit. 2 mana, deal 1 damage to a random enemy, repeat for each beast, each friendly beast. It has 3 durability, it's a location. insane card. It's fucking so much damage. Uh, it's not expensive by any means. It's just a very, very powerful card. Definitely sees play in Beast Hunter, sees play in basically every Hunter deck that can run it. Great card. Curse Campaign. Give a friendly minion Death Rattle, summon 2 copies, Dorman. It's just a bad card. Like, there's no reason to play this over, like, a Cube, and Cube already sucks, so... Yeah, I mean, it's just not really useful by any means. The minion being dormant for 2 turns sucks a lot. It's just bad. Rumble Enthusiast. After you play your left or rightmost card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. There's just no reason to play this card. Doesn't do anything whatsoever. Like, it's Altruist, but worse. Yeah, it's 1 mana cheaper than Altruist, but Altruist deals damage to everything. So that it doesn't get, like, cucked as a combo card by a board. It's just a very, very bad card. Where was I? Sorry, I had to take a break. Oh, Malefic Rook, 3. Battlecry, attack your hero. Worse than current options. The only deck you would play this in is Questline Warlock, but for 3 mana, it's just significantly worse than every other option that you could do in that deck. For 3 mana, especially, actually. It just absolutely will not make the cut in the deck, and then, yeah. I mean, and maybe as it's also just like not that great as like a zoo demon. You know, dealing 5 to yourself is pretty mediocre. You know, because you can just die. There's some times where zoo decks just deal enough damage to themselves they just die, and that's pretty bad. Shutter Block, expensive, value, useless. You might be thinking, oh, you know, Shutter Block, 6 mana, 5/5, miniaturized Battlecry. Your next Battlecry triggers 3 times. That's not what the card wholly says. It also says, but can't damage the enemy hero. So if you play this in your Shutterwalk, you ruin your Shutterwalk. Astalor won't deal damage, and then none of your Shutters will deal damage for the rest of the game. It's just not worth playing as a card. I don't think this card sees any play whatsoever. Alonius, probably okay. It's probably worse than like an Astalor OTK in like a Reno Dragon Druid. However, you can play Malagos with this. You can do some pretty jank stuff with it. It's definitely like a side grade, I would say, but it's probably slightly worse. You can tutor this, and you can't really tutor Astalor, so that's why I think it's more of a side grade than anything else. I think it's probably just an okay card. 7 mana, 6/6 spell damage. Your spells get you have double spell damage. I mean, it's just like an okay card. Once Upon a Time, bad. It's explicitly worse than, I think it was called Tiny Toys, which is 5 mana, summon 4 5-mana minions, but their stats are 2/2s. This is 6 mana, summon a random 3-cost beast, dragon, elemental, murloc for 6 mana. Yeah, they'll have more stats on average, but the only reason you would play this card is to evolve, so 5 drops are better than 3 drops, so the card sucks. And, you know, Tiny Toys already sucks. Mystery Egg, bad card. You know, I'm going to group these by class, actually. 1 second. Okay. Mystery Egg, bad card. 5 mana, 0/3, horribly understated. Miniaturize, whatever keyword. Death Rattle, because it's a value-based keyword, so it's kind of whatever. Death Rattle, get a copy of a random beast in your deck. It costs 5 less. So, it doesn't have attack in any way to bump itself. You or your opponent's never going to kill it. It's really slow. Big beast cards suck to begin with. And to top it all off, it says any random beast. So you can't even run this with Dreadscale. And Dreadscale is the best card in Hunter. So why would I not or want a card that counter synergizes with the best card in the class? Yeah. What is this? Recommend Decum? Choose a friendly mech, summon a copy of it that attacks a random enemy, then dies. You play this with Ziliax. Yep. It's just really, really good with Ziliax. Yeah, you can play it with like other kind of mechs that get value. Yeah, like, who cares? The Ziliax with this is really good. You have a 4 attack lifesteal that'll attack a random enemy. And then you have your Ziliax anyway. It's just a lot of healing. It's pretty decent overall. I think this would be a decent card. There might be some death rattle thing I'm just not even considering, but like I don't think that's why you would ever play this card. Card Grader, Battle Cry. If you cast a spell while holding this, discover a card from your deck. 3 mana, 2/4. Worse than current options, I would say. It's just bad, actually, because it's not... Worse than current options is, like, for cards that would go in on meta deck, and then they're just worse than that. So, Card Grader is just a bad card. It doesn't... You never play this anywhere. Like, maybe if Naga Hunter, not Mage or Demon Hunter, because they want cheap Nagas. This costs 3 mana, so it's not cheap. You want Nagas that cost, like, 1 or 2 in those decks. But if Naga Hunter ever becomes a deck, maybe it's okay there. You know, it's 3 mana and meh body, but why do they have to make all these cards have, like, understated bodies? Why do they have to do that? It's so weird. Like so many of these cards just have bad bodies for no reason. Anyway, understated minion to draw 1 card, it's just meh. Triple Trickster, 4 mana, 2/3, Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to a random enemy 3 times, Elemental. Yeah, that's like some pretty decent face damage for Elemental Mage. However, it has 2 attack, it has 3 health, and it's an Elemental. And Elemental Mage sucks. So, yeah. It's not going to go in that deck, and the deck is bad. So, it's kind of... There's a 5 mana, like, 7/4 that deals, like, 7 damage, which is just better than this. Because, you know, it's way more stats. And, you know, it's about as efficient to cheat out. Quality Assurance. Draw 2 Taunt Minions. Very good card. This card sees play in Taunt Warrior. This card sees play in... there's, like, thoughts of running this in, like, a Skipper Warrior, and it's probably okay there. You know, maybe not amazing, but it's just a good card. You know, 2 mana, draw 2. Great. Bot Face. Expensive, value, useless. I mean, all of these cards technically go in the bad tier, but I don't know. Bot Face, 9 mana, 3/9, Mech Taunt. After this takes damage, get 2 random minis, and the minis are like from the miniaturize. Obviously, this card's fucking terrible. Like, do I actually have to explain why a 9 mana minion that doesn't do anything but give you value is a bad card? Because there's so many people that just don't understand that, I guess. Like, all it does is give you value, and value sucks. Value does not do anything in Wild Hearthstone. You know what value does? It makes you lose to control decks. Every control deck has a win condition, and if they don't, they're not playable. And it also is useless against combo decks. Value is also useless against aggro decks. So, like, what is value useful for? Nothing. Trinket Artist. 3 mana, 2/3. Again, understated. Battle Cry, draw a Divine Shield minion and an Aura. Probably okay. You can play this in, like, a hand buff paladin. You can play it in, like, a control paladin with Ziliax. Draw the Ziliax. It's just a relatively okay card. I don't really have much, like, to say about it, like, negatively, aside from being understated, but it's just fine. If it was 2 mana, it would be broken as hell, but, you know, it's just okay. Wish Upon a Star. Expensive, value, useless, or bad? This is mostly just legendaries. Wait. There. I just specified that's for legendaries. Whatever. Yeah, expensive, value, useless legendaries. But Wish Upon a Star is just a bad card. 7 mana, give all... Or +2/+3 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. Yeah. I mean, board buffs are good, but not when they cost 7 mana. Because you usually why board buffs are good is because your opponent can't clear your early board, and then you stick it into a buff. But if it's 7 mana, like, what the fuck does that do? Workshop Mishap. Deal 5 damage to a minion. Oh, I forgot I was like doing these. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, Workshop Mishap. Deal 5 damage to a minion. Any excess hits its neighbors, outcast, gate, and lifesteal. It's just bad. It doesn't make the cut anywhere. Like, you don't care about this in like an Il'gynoth OTK because it's just worse than everything that you have access to. Unleash Fel and Fellscream Blast are 1 mana. There's no like control Demon Hunter, and even if there was, this card sucks anyway. Red card just doesn't do anything either. 1 mana, make a minion go dormant for 2 turns. Just like, what is the point of that card? It doesn't do anything. I don't know what to tell you. They made 3 mana 3/3, I think, or was it 4 mana 3/3? Set a minion dormant for 3 turns. That card saw absolutely no play. So why would this see any play either? And before you say, oh, you could your Il'gynoth on 5 and play this on it. No, you fucking can't, because if they have any kind of disruption, they just play it when it comes out. Plus, that's just bad. Why would you wait till turn 7 to play your Il'gynoth combo when you can do it on like 5 or 6 usually? Silk Stitching. Probably okay. 2 mana, choose a friendly minion, discover a spell that costs 4 or less. It casts when it dies. You know, there's a lot of really good Death Knight spells that are cheap. And you can play this in like an even Death Knight. And it's pretty decent in there. It's like School Teacher, but 2 mana cheaper. So, yeah. I mean, like, I can't really give it any more praise or say anything negative about it because it's just School Teacher, which was a really strong card, but 2 mana cheaper. Like, you know? Tar Slime. Find card, no home, the deck sucks. So, this is a really good card. 1 mana, 0/3, taunt, has +2 attack during your opponent's turn. Actually, it's probably okay. I lied. I forgot that you played this in Skipper Warrior. This is really good in Skipper Warrior because it's an elemental with a lot of health. So, and it's cheap, so you can get your Roaring Applause. And it's like good to tempo on 1 because it has a lot of stats. It's 1 mana, 2/3. This card is probably very good. Rearrange you. Sorry, it's just very hard to keep these all arranged, I'm not gonna lie. Joymancer Geppetto, expensive, useless, value, legendary. It's 1 of the million. 8 mana, 6/6, Battlecry. Get copies of every 1 attack or 1 health minion you've played this game. What the fuck are you playing this in? It's 8 goddamn mana, and it doesn't do anything. Like, you get automatons, I guess, but Automaton Priest kind of just fucking kills your ass on like 6, or 5 or 6. With Automaton Priest kills your ass on like 4, 5, 6 with Confuse, which effectively doubles the stats of your minions every time you play it. Not exactly double, but something like that. Or with Topsy-Turvy, same idea. Yeah, I mean, Automaton Priest never runs this card because they actually, do decent things. Automaton Priest is like a fine deck. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Oh, sorry, I got a headache. I'm sick. I gotta get this fucking video out, dude. I gotta grind through. It's just I'm like taking a break in between every few cards. So, where was I? CCG. Expensive, value, useless, legendary. Yeah, it's not expensive, but it's a value, useless, legendary. It doesn't fucking do shit, dude. It doesn't fight for the board. It gives you mediocre cards. Like, a lot of the for standard, yeah, this is probably fine getting the day 1 Demon Hunter cards, but a lot of them are just like not worth playing in Wild, even if they got reverted. Like, you probably wouldn't play Skull in Wild hard run. You probably would, or you definitely wouldn't fucking play what is it? Whatever the hero power one that's 5 mana, you definitely wouldn't play that because it costs 4 mana now for the same damage. So I don't know why they did that. And then a lot of the cards, are just mediocre. This card just doesn't do anything. Boom Wrench. 4 mana, 3/2, miniaturize, Death Rattle. Trigger the Death Rattle of a random friendly mech. Find card, no home, the deck sucks. There's no like real Death Rattle warrior, you know? Death Rattle Mech Warrior. This is actually a pretty good card overall, but there's nowhere to put it, you know? That's why I want this tier. I know that like it's really weird to say, it's a lot of weird wording, but there are just cards that are actually pretty good cards. They just don't have anywhere to go because the archetype doesn't exist. And this is one of them, you know, Boom Wrench. Yeah, this card is supposed to go with it, but like, you play this with Ziliax, and it's actually incredibly high value. You can play it with like, I don't know actually, there's not really any good mechs in Warrior, to be honest. Mech Warrior was never really a thing, it was more just Dr. Boom, Mad Genius Warrior, to be honest. The Headless Horseman. Expensive, useless, value, legendary. So, 6 mana, Battle Cry, destroy a random minion, and then shuffle the thing into your deck that makes your hero power, deal 2 mana, deal 3 damage, discover a undead. If that's not like a useless value card, I don't know what it is. It's 1 mana cheaper for effectively similar effect to the Priest Galakron. Obviously, you know, you can make the Priest Galakron better, but you never do. And it's just bad. The Priest Galakron sucks, and the Death Knight hero card is going to be bad. So, like, when you have direct comparisons of cards like this, it's a lot easier to understand when a card is bad. Origami Crane, 4 mana, 4/1, Beast, Taunt, Battlecry, swap health with another minion. Meh. This is a meh as hell card. It just like doesn't actually matter in any conceivable way. Like, you steal the health of an 8/8 taunt, and then they just bash the 8/1 into it, or something similar. Like, what does that do? And this is useless against aggro because it's just what? It's gonna be like a 4/3 with taunt, a 4/2, 4/1 even in some cases. Like, that's just so useless. Bucket of Soldiers, 3 mana, 0/2, Death Rattle, summon 5 1/1 soldiers with a random bonus effect. Yeah, it's a bad card. I was gonna put it in worse than current options, but like, these cards are like okay, but they're just worse than other things. This card isn't better than anything. You know, it's not even like an okay card. The only place you would ever play this in is like Quest Rogue, but this card was printed after the Spark Bots were printed for Rogue, and Spark Bots are really fucking powerful because sometimes you just win the game on turn 5 because you have like a stealth on board, and then you give it, you know, make a 15/15 Wind Fury, and you like prep and stuff like that, and that's just really, really powerful. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I mean, like, this card's just fucking worthless. Tiger's Plushie, probably okay. There's a world where you play this in any Paladin deck running Deputy Aura because it makes the miniaturized Rush guy really, really strong. Yeah, you lose value from the lifesteal, but who cares? You just get like a 1/1 Rush Divine Shield to go with your Deputy Aura for 1 card. It's pretty decent. I think it maybe makes the cut in some Paladin decks, to be honest. Timewinder, Zarimi. I'm gonna put this in probably okay because rather than these two, because it's not a guaranteed good card is the thing, but and it's obviously not an auto good card. But there are speculations for, you know, Dragon Shadow Priest, Dragon Miracle Priest, things like that. You would never play this as a dedicated combo card because why would you? It's not better than anything as like a dedicated combo setup card. So it just doesn't really do anything there, but yeah. I mean, it's just a fine card overall. It probably doesn't see play, sadly, but I don't know. What is this card called? Treasure Distributor, 1 mana, 1/2 pirate. After you summon a pirate, give it +1 attack. I'm not putting this in auto include, but it is a good card. There is a world where this doesn't make the cut in Pirate Rogue. I don't know for sure, because it is worse than Churgeon. +1 health is a lot better than +1 attack. It makes your board harder to clear. It's also Pirates only, which again is worse than Chursion because you can't like give Void Touch Attendant uh, 4 health to get it out of a lot of really valuable break points. But it's probably just a good card. I can't justify putting this as auto include. I just can't. Inventor Boom, 8 mana, 7/7 Battle Cry, Resurrect two. Sorry, what? Resurrect two friendly mechs that cost 5 or more. They immediately attack random enemies. So it could go face technically. And that would actually be pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Uh no, there's no way that you can make like a face OTK with this. There's no way. If that were possible, this card would be a lot more interesting. But it's just like I'm saying, it's just a bad, expensive value legendary that kind of fights for board, but like it's 8 mana, so like no, it doesn't. 8 mana cards don't fight for board, no matter what the text says. So yeah, it just kind of. I mean, yeah. Fly to the skies. Bad. 4 mana, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Repeat for each dragon in hand. This card is not a shadow spell. Yep. Priest currently only plays 3 decks. 2 of them are shadow decks. One of them is not a face deck, and the other one is a miracle deck where this card fucking does nothing. This card just will not see play by any means. It's just bad. Testing Dummy, 6 mana, 3/8, taunt, death rattle, deal 8 damage, randomly split among all enemies. It's just a bad card. So this is what the whole idea between these like warrior cards is that you're supposed to play like Wrench, and I don't even remember what the fuck this card is called. I'm like lean back in my chair. Recommend Deckham with this card, right? To deal a lot of damage, but like that's so expensive. Same with like Boom. It's just so expensive when you can just play Odin and win the game. Because that doesn't win the game. Yeah. It's just yeah. So Magical Dollhouse, 1 mana, 3 durability location. Get +1 spell damage this turn. It's just like a pretty good card. I mean, like, it's completely contingent on spell damage Druid being playable, but spell damage Druid looks really, really powerful, so yeah. Of course, if spell damage Druid isn't playable, the card isn't playable, but like, what else can I say, right? Hemet. Expensive, bad, or value, useless legendary. 5 mana, 3/6. After a friendly beast dies, so has a condition, get a random legendary beast from the past that costs 2 less. So it's just a value card, and as I've been saying a million times over, value cards suck ass and wild. They don't do anything. Winning the game is better than value. And yeah. So of course Hemet is a bad card. What the fuck is this card called? Shambling Zombie Tank. 2 mana, 3/2, undead mech, I think. Taunt. Battle Cry, spend 5 corpses on a copy of this. I mean, spending 5 corpses is a lot. And in like an even Death Knight, which is the only playable Death Knight card or deck in Wild, you don't want to spend your corpses on things that you don't want. You only want to really spend your corpses on Grave Strength and Lord Marrowgar. So using this just kind of fucks over your corpses. Remote Control. Probably okay. I mean, it's 2 mana, 1/3 weapon. It's Carving Chisel that gives you a beast, so it has value with like Buzzard and like it's a weapon, so it goes in like Shock Spitter Hunter. It's probably just like an okay card, to be honest. Okay, I just took like I don't know, like a 2-hour fucking break between that last card. I'm not gonna lie. Sparkling File, 3 mana, deal 2 damage. Your next card this turn costs that much less. It's a pretty good card. Of course, as same with Dollhouse is contingent on Spell Damage Druid being a good deck, but I feel like it's going to be a pretty decent deck. It's very gross looking. Chalk Artist. 4 mana, 4/3, Battle Cry, draw a minion, transform it into a legendary minion. That keeps its stats and mana cost and all that. It's bad. You don't play this anywhere. It doesn't really. Sorry, it just doesn't really do anything. Getting a random legendary sucks, especially because you can destroy like a good minion. And Smolin, 3 mana. Reduce the cost and attack of minions in your deck by 1. Doesn't matter. Druid has way better access to mana cheat than a card like this. Fetch, 2 mana, draw a minion. If it's beast, draw a spell. This is just a good card. 2 mana, draw 2 and Hunter. Who could have ever guessed that it would be good? I don't really see why this card wouldn't be good. You played a Beast Hunter, it's always 2 mana, draw 2, so yeah. Watercolor Artist, 4 mana, 4/4, Battlecry, draw a Frost spell at the start of your turns, reduce its cost by 1. It's a bad card. Which doesn't really do anything. Yeah, you draw a Frost spell, but if you do that, you're probably going to want to play it the next turn, so it's only -1 mana. So it's worse than like Steam Guardian. Hidden Objects, bad card. You don't play this anywhere. There's literally not a single deck in the game that wants to play this card. There's only like 5, maybe 6 good secrets out of like 20 secrets. So the secret discover pool is terrible, and it's not really mana cheat because it's 2 mana to get a 1-cost secret, so it's the same price. Threads of Despair. This is the entire reason that I wanted to make Fine Card, No Home, the deck sucks. 1 mana, Shadow Spell, it doesn't matter. Give all minions Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. This is probably one of the best removal cards ever made, but Rainbow Death Knight doesn't exist. It's an unplayable deck, and Blood Death Knight, again, doesn't exist. It's just not fucking playable. That doesn't mean this is a bad card, though. This is a fucking broken card. This is insane as a card, but there's just no way to play it. Yogg in the Box. So I don't have... This is like a card where it's actually a card you play in a certain deck. However, I don't really have anything for that, so I'm just going to put it in bad. It's a mediocre card. It probably sees play in Casino Mage, but Casino Mage sucks, so like, yeah. It's 8 mana, cast 5 random spells. Your deck has no minions, they cost 5 or more, so it's actually a pretty fun effect. Casino Mage is going to be really fun with this, but Casino Mage just sucks, so. Everything Must Go. 8 mana, summon 2 4-cost minions, cost 1 less for each card you've drawn. Worse than current options. This would be a Miracle Rogue card, but Miracle Rogue would never play this card, so yeah. 3 mana, 3/2, Death Rattle, reduce the cost of 2 spells in your hand by 1. Clearance Promoter. So this card's actually interesting. I don't know what would use it, but like it's just mana cheat, neutral for a spell. Like, feels like it's not the worst card in the world, but there's just nowhere to put it. Playhouse Giant. This is a good card. Maybe an auto-include card. 20 mana, 8/8 mech, costs 1 less for each card you've drawn in this game. You play this in Questline Demon Hunter, and I think you play it there. I don't think there's any reason not to. I think it's very good in that deck. 5 mana, 6/5, miniaturize, Battlecry, discover a demon, set its cost and stats to this minions. Bad card. This card's just bad. Even if you somehow got like a high roll and you hit like an 8-cost minion, who cares? It the problem with a card like this is big demons don't want their stats reduced because a lot of the big demons help you fight for board at the same time. Yeah, they get their cost reduced, but if you have like a 1/1, green rag, like that's fucking terrible. So you don't want to play a card like that ever. Lesser Spinel Spellstone. Give undead in your hand, +1/+1, +2/+2, +3/+3, Spellstone. 5 corpses to upgrade. I think it just sucks. Like, you have to gain 10 corpses for this card to do anything, so it's really, really late in the game, and I guess 1 mana +2/+2 is fine, but it specifies undead, which is why Handbuff Death Knight sucks, is whenever a card specifies undead, that means you can't give a charge, because there's no undead with charge. And charge is why Handbuff is good. Sketch Artist, draw a shadow spell, get a temporary copy of it. This is a fine card, honestly. I mean, it's just like probably okay, right? 3 mana, 3/3, draw a spell. The temporary copy doesn't really matter that much. You get like Mortal Coil, that's fine. Dark Bomb, not the worst thing ever. Game Master Nemzi. I think Nemzi is probably okay. Let's just do this. I don't want to deal with that. 5 mana, 3/6, Battlecry, draw a demon, definitely also places with it. You get like the new 8-drop, you get Void Lord, you get Mal'Ganis, and then yeah, that's pretty decent. Especially because it can do it again and again. Up next is Safety Goggles. This is an auto-include card. This is a very powerful card. 2 mana, gain 6 armor. That's fine. Cost 0 if you don't have any armor. That's really fucking good. It's good with Shield Shatter. It's good with Odin. Just a good card. Nesting Golem. 4 mana, 4/3. Death Hour. Resummon this with -1/-1. It's a bad card. It's like Rattlegore, but not 9 mana. So it's not worth cheating out. And Rattlegore already kind of sucks. So, yeah. Sandbox Scoundrel, 5 mana, miniaturize, Battlecry. Your next card this turn costs 3 less. This is probably a pretty decent card. I don't know explicitly what you do with this card, but the fact that it also gives you the mini 1/1 that does the same thing is actually pretty good. There's probably a combo with it somewhere, especially with Sonya. Sorry. It's just a really goofy card. I think it would probably be not the worst thing ever. Incredible value, obviously, it's fucking terrible. 4 mana, discover or 3 mana, discover a 4-cost minion. Set its attack and health to 7. If it if it was summon or discover and summon a 4-cost minion, it would probably be not the worst card ever. But you have to spend 7 mana for a 7/7. Huh? Like, what? Fairy Tale Forest. This card is fucking broken. You play this card in like every shaman deck that can afford it. You can play it in Odd Shaman. You play it in Shutter Shaman. You play it in Big Shaman. Yes, Odd Shaman's going to be a deck again next expansion. Hopefully. Obviously, this isn't ordered. I feel like I have to point that out. But yeah, this card's broken. So powerful. 3 mana, location, draw a battle card minion, costs 1 less. You can get God, what's it called? Muckmorpher consistently for turn 4. So disgusting. Sky Mother Aviana. Wow, I wonder what tier this goes in. Did I already do a druid one? No. Expensive, value, useless legendary, 6 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, shuffle, 10 random legendary minions in your deck, and they cost 1. But you might be thinking, wait, could I combine this with Insmallin? No, you can't. I mean, you could, but it's fucking 9 mana for when you could just win the game because value sucks. Yeah. Origami Frog, 5 mana, 1/4, rush, Battlecry, swap attack with another minion. This card's fucking terrible. It's way too expensive to go 1-for-1 with a card, which is likely what it's going to do. It's just really bad. Let me put it with the other origami card. Dig for treasure, draw a minion. If it's a pirate, gain a coin. Where'd it go? Sorry. Yeah, this card's really good. I think it goes in the good tier. I don't think you run this in Pirate Rogue. However, this is like a tutor in like a fucking lot of decks. You can play it in Miracle Rogue, and there are pirates in Miracle Rogue. You run Prize Plunderer to help against aggro. So sometimes you just hit Prize Plunderer, and you're really happy. You can also run this in like basically any combo rogue, because most of your combos are minions, so this is just really powerful. Cosplay contestant, after your opponent plays a minion, transform into a 3/4 copy of it. Fucking awful card. It's Harbinger of Celestia, but still bad. Not better, really, in any way, to be honest. Because, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's going to have more stats than Celestia, but if you played something that has more than 3/4 in stats, Celestia is still better. So, yeah. Scale Replica. Draw your lowest and highest cost dragon. It's 2 mana draw 2, but you don't play it anywhere, really. There's nowhere to put this card at all. You wouldn't even play it in a Zarimi combo deck, because, Zarimi combo decks, you just draw your whole deck out, so I'm not sure if that goes anywhere, really. Baking Soda Volcano, this is a good card. 4 mana, lifesteal, deal damage to all minions, like randomly split. Overload 1, yeah, whatever. This card's fucking great. You play this in every Shaman deck, basically, aside from Even. Any Shaman deck that you play this in. It's just a really good card. Bottomless Toy Chest. Again, same idea with the other spell damage druid cards. 2 mana, discover a card for your deck. If you have spell damage, copy it. It's like Moonlit Guidance, but always better in a spell damage druid. So, yeah. Observer of Mysteries, 3 mana, Battlecry, cast 2 random secrets. At the start of your turn, destroy them. This is probably a fine card. You might be thinking, oh, didn't you say it wasn't very good? Yes, however, it's 3 mana to play your 6/6. Like, instantly, and it's a 2/2. Yeah, the secrets might get value as well, but you don't care about that as much. You care about getting the 6/6 out. Rambunctious Stuffy, 3 mana, 4/2, undead, beast. Rush, after you cast a frost spell, gain reborn. Again, this is a really good card, but there's nowhere to put it. Frost Death Knight, fucking unplayable. Rainbow Death Knight, fucking unplayable. But this is still a very powerful card. It gives you so much removal. Celiacs, auto-include. You do ticking and haywire module in like a showdown paladin. You do ticking and perfection module in like everything else because it's really fucking OP and aggro. Yeah, I mean, when you have a 0 mana 4/5 taunt, lifesteal, rush, divine shield, it fucking decimates aggro. Pipsy Painthoof. Probably okay as a card. Like, Big Paladin kind of sucks, but you play this in Big Paladin. What else do I say about it? 7 mana, 4/4, Death Rattle, 7 mana, Divine Shield, Rush, and Taunt minion from your deck. You you run Ziliax in that deck anyway because the card's so broken. So sometimes you hit Ziliax. It's a bit of a low roll, but not really. You're still gonna 4-5 with all the effects, so it's not that end of the world. Rush, Neptulon, uh, Taunt, you got like Felcrack, Colossus, or whatever it's called, this 10 mana, 7/7 Death Rattle guy. Pepsi's probably not the worst card ever. I think it might see some play, but I don't think Big Paladin's really that good of a deck. Pop-up book. 1 mana, deal 2 damage, summon 2 1/1 frogs with taunt. This card instantly fucking goes in Frog Shaman because not only is it a nature spell, so that it costs 0, it's targets for bioluminescence, which is already fine in the deck. It's nerfed from what it originally was, but bio is definitely going to get reverted. So this card's fucking disgusting in that deck. Nostalgic Clown, 5 mana, 6/5, miniaturized Battlecry. If you played a card that costs more than this, deal 4 damage. Into the shitter we go. If this card costs 4 mana, it would actually be kind of good. If it was a 4 mana 5/4, it would actually be a decent card. The issue is it's 5 mana, which means it's 6 mana total for 8 damage, which is mediocre. If it was 5 mana, that would actually be not the worst thing ever, but yeah, I mean, like if it was 4 mana, you could play with Bran and get some pretty good face damage, but meh. Like the idea is you play it with Emperor Thaurissan. Thaurissan triggers this, it discounts your whole hand. Bran costs 2, these cost 3, you can play both, and then you can get like a shit ton of damage. I mean, it's not good, but that was at least the idea, but since this costs 5, you can't do it. Amateur Puppeteer, 5 mana, undead, 2/6, miniaturized taunt, death rattle, give undead in your hand +2/+2. Same idea. It just sucks. It's also 5 mana, so you can't even play it in like an even Death Knight, so just bad. Crane Game, 9 mana, summon 2 copies, or summon copies of the. What? Summon copies of 2 demons in your deck. Costs 9 mana, dude. Obviously, this card sucks. Like, why does it cost 9 mana? Gift Wrapped Whelp. 1 mana, 2/1 dragon, Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, give it and this +1/+1. This is a fine card, but there's nowhere to play it. I mean, it's 1 mana 4/3. This card's fucking nuts. It just, dragons are bad. Like, you can't really play like an aggressive dragon deck like this card would want, so yeah. Nostalgic Gnome. 4 mana 4/4 miniaturized rush, and then it's honorable kill. All that text just honorable kill, draw a card. And since you can't put honorable kill in this expansion, so this card's a little upsetting. It's not the worst card ever. It's just it feels like it's too late. If this card came out 3-4 years ago, it'd probably be okay. But a card like this just too slow for wild. 4 mana 4/4 deal. You kill a minion. Sometimes you draw a card. It's like not the greatest thing ever, but I don't know. It's just kind of mediocre. End game, 2 mana, resurrect your last demon that died. Sorry. Probably okay. It's a shadow spell. You can draw with this guy, and then of course you play it, with your gigantic demons to summon a gigantic guy. You keep resummoning your big guys, and then yeah. The issue with big demon warlock is that like your best demon doesn't want to get cheated out. Sargeras. Sargeras is really bad to get cheated out because his battle cry doesn't go off, and his battle cry is the nether portal. So yeah, it kind of sucks. I mean, yeah, you can resurrect like Magnanis, Void Lord, Wretched Queen, which is this card, Wretched Queen. Of course, Wretched Queen goes in this deck. It's the whole purpose of the deck. 8 mana 4/4 taunt. Death Rattle summon 2 4/4s with taunt. This card's probably about as good, if not better, than Void Lord. It pushes more damage than Void Lord, but it has less health overall than Void Lord. It's 12 versus 18, but it's also 12 attack versus 6. So And, it's 1 mana cheaper, so if you had to play it from hand. Forgotten Animatronic, 5 mana, 4/6 mech. At the end of your turn, destroy a minion with less attack than this. This card sucks. I mean, it kills 1 minion for 5 mana and doesn't really do it consistently. I mean, it's just really expensive to only kill 1 minion, and you don't really get like an upside from it. Yeah, you got a 4/6 body, but eh. King Plush. Expensive, useless value legendary. King Plush, 9 mana, 6/6. Charge, battle cry, shuffle all minions with less attack than this into your deck. So, Crush sucks ass. Uh, Usually, when you play big beast hunter cards, they're getting cheated out of your hand or deck, so your battle cry doesn't go off, which makes Crush just worse than, or Plush just worse than Crush, which sucks. But what are you gonna do? Plush just kind of fucking doesn't do anything. Let's add that. Plucky Painting. Paint Fin, sorry. 3 mana, poisonous, battlecry, draw a rush minion. 3 mana, 2/3. That's a weird set of effects. Diving Griffin is already not really playable, and Diving Griffin actually kills a minion. This doesn't kill anything. Sorry. So I don't really see this card being played much of anywhere. It's also a Murloc, I guess, but I don't know. Doesn't really fit anywhere. It's kind of just like an amalgamation of effects that doesn't do anything whatsoever. Ball Hog. Bad. Bad card. 4 mana, 3/3. Quillbore. Lifesteal. Battlecry and Death Rattle deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. If this was Death Rattle, deal 3 health to the lowest health enemy twice, it would probably be an okay card. The issue is Death Rattle Demon Hunter doesn't cheat out like mana cheat. It pulls Death Rattles from the hand. So the Battle Cry has no effect. Why they did this? I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think. I don't know. Razor or Ball Hog just doesn't really make sense. I don't get it. Nostalgic Initiate. 3 mana, 2/3. Miniaturize. The first time you cast a spell, gain +2/+2. This card's nah. It's significantly worse than Intrepid Initiate, because Intrepid Initiate is +2 attack, but it's 1 mana. I guess the idea is that it's a 3 mana 4/5. That gets better every turn, but does it though? It's really slow. It probably just fucking dies. I don't know. I don't like this card. This makes my head hurt thinking about. Water Cannon. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 pirate that attacks a random enemy. 4 mana, 3/3 weapon. This is a bad card, right? I don't have any road cards been bad yet. 4 mana, 3/3 weapon is already kind of not great, but you never play this ever. Ever. In sorry, I'm trying to think. In Pirate Rogue, because it's just so significantly worse than Swordfish. This is a significant downgrade over Swordfish. These cards, they're meh. They're not great cards. Or they are okay cards like Toy Boat. But they just don't fit anywhere, right? You wouldn't play this in Miracle Rogue because why the fuck would you? Thistle Tea Set. Discover a spell from another class, get a copy of it. It's probably okay. Probably okay. You can play this in Thief Rogue, and it's pretty decent there. Lab Patron, fucking awful. 4 mana, 3/3. The first time you gain armor each turn, summon another lab patron. So the idea of this card is that you play it with safety goggles and you get like, 4 mana, 6/6 some stats and 6 armor, but who cares? And the second lab patron that you summon can't trigger its effect again because that's not the first time you gained armor that turn. Purifying Power, 2 mana, silence all friendly minions and give them +2/+1 holy spell. This is a pretty decent card, it just doesn't have anywhere to go. Silence Priest isn't really a deck. If it were, this card would be really good in it, of course, but yeah. I mean, +1/+2 for 2 mana is really good, but like I'm saying, Silence Priest doesn't exist, so. Floppy Hydra, 3 mana, 2/4, Battlecry, shuffle a copy of this into your deck with permanently doubled attack and health. Obviously, this card's fucking terrible. You have to get this like multiple times shuffled, multiple times pulled out of your deck, and then you could like maybe Rhino combo with it, but why would you do that over anything else? It's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of not really useful. Shoplifter Goldbeard, 6 mana, 5/5 pirate. After you summon a pirate, summon a copy of it that attacks a random enemy, then dies. It costs 6 mana. And it's understated for some fucking reason. Do I put it in here? I think I do. I'm just putting all the bad legendaries here, huh? It's kind of funny. I don't have any of them in this tier I can think of. That's kind of funny. What is this card called? The Galactic Projection Orb, 10 mana, recast a random spell of each cost that you played this game. So you can play this with Parrot, with Potion of Illusion, and then with Time Warp, and that's fine. It's maybe better than Raw Math, but I'm not sure. It's less likely to die than if you were to do Raw Math stuff a lot of the time. It will recast Ice Block if it's your only 3 mana spell. Probably okay in like a Reno Quest Mage. I'm not sure where else it would see any play. Oh man, oh no. I'm just so sick. Holy. Wheel of Death, expensive, useless value, legendary. It's 8 mana, shadow spell. Destroy your deck, 5 turns, win the game. You're gonna lose the game if you play this ever. If you play it on 8, you lose. If you play it on 4, you lose. This card's just fucking terrible, like, at every break point. Like, it doesn't matter if you win the game in 5 turns if you weren't gonna win the game in those 5 turns to begin with. For you to play this card, you need to be able to survive the, 15 damage that you get from this, and whatever jank your opponent's going to be doing. So I just don't think this card ever does anything ever. Sleet Skater, bad card. 5 mana, 3/4, Miniaturize, Battle Cry, freeze, and enemy minion, gain armor. It gives you like 3 armor on average. Like, that's so terrible. For 5 mana, it's so fucking bad. Like, this card is atrocious. It's too slow in aggro. It doesn't get really any value into aggro. And, like, what are you going to do? Like, freeze a giant, I guess? Get some 8 armor from there, but that means you have to play this card in your deck, so. Random Musician, 6 mana, 5/5, tradable. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, sorry. Trade upgrade. Obviously, this card sucks. I mean, look at it, dude. You have to trade it like 4. You have to trade it so many times for it to be anything, and it's just worse than Spammy Arcanist. It's so much worse than Spammy Arcanist. Holy. It's, again, understated. Why are they all understated? Fireworker, 5 mana, 5/5, mech, death rattle, summon 2 1/1 boombots, 4 when they explode, yada yada. Bad. So, I'm gonna move this here, actually. Again, this is another, Death Rattle mech that's supposed to go in, this Death Rattle Mech Hunter, but that deck just doesn't function. There are not really any good Death Rattle mechs. Like, yeah, I rate the support cards better, but there aren't any Death Rattle mechs to do anything with. Wind Up Enforcer, 6 mana, 3/5, tradable, Battlecry, summon 1. Copy this minion, trade to upgrade. Yeah, this card's fucking terrible again. What Paladin card here? It's just, this card's just, even if you trade it once to get 3 copies, it's just worse than Azure Chain Gang. It's just so much worse. Like, it doesn't even have Taunt, doesn't have Rush, doesn't have Lifesteal, nothing like that. Jade Display, 1 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle. Your Jade displays gain +2/+2 this game and shuffle 2 in your deck. Worse than current. It's just worse than Jade Idol. See, Jade Idol doesn't require the minions to die, so that means you can keep ramping them. But since this needs it to die, if it never dies, you're not shuffling, you're not fighting fatigue, anything like that, in like a fatigue warlock. So it's just worse than Jade Idol. Sing Along Body. Auto include in Even Hunter, in Uther OTK Paladin, in a lot of even decks. Just really powerful card. Definitely is going to see a lot of play through its entire existence in Hearthstone. Probably this card will be one of those cards that sees play for all time. I'm not going to lie. Table Flip. This is a really good card. You play this in like every single Warlock deck that can run it. 10 mana, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions, cost 1 less for each card in your hand. Yeah, it's just a great card because Warlock has a lot of card draw. They have some issues with, medium-sized boards. Table Flip helps alleviate that issue. They're really good at killing tall minions. They're really good at killing, small boards, but medium-ish sized boards, Table Flip helps out a lot. You can usually play this on, turn 3 against Shadow Priest, so, yeah. A lot of Shadow Priest minions have 3 health, so, yeah, it's a great card. It's used a lot of play. Manufacturing Error. 6 mana, draw 3 cards. If your deck has no minions, they cost 3 less. Again, fine card, no home, the deck sucks. Yeah, no mini mage kind of sucks. This is like Skull of Gul'dan as well, but with a less restrictive condition because you just play no minion mage. And you don't need to outcast. Outcast is actually kind of awkward keyword, especially for a really expensive card like Skull of Gul'dan, so yeah. Spirit of the Team, 2 mana, 0/3, undead. Stealth for 1 turn. Your hero has +2 attack on your turn. This card sucks. If this card cost 1 mana, it would be broken. If it costs 3 mana and had more attack or something like that, it'd probably be okay. But at 2 mana, it's just so awkward. It doesn't really give enough attack to do anything. You can't play this in an odd Demon Hunter, which is the only real aggro Demon Hunter you can play. It's just an awkward card. If it cost 1 mana, it would probably be really good. I'm not going to lie. Painted Canvasaur. I don't think this card's good. I think this card is worse than current options. I think that this card is incredibly overhyped. Giving random effects to your minions is not that great. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot worse than adapting your minions, that's for sure. Adapting your minions, you can get Wind Fury the same as this, yeah, but you can also get +3 attack. That's why Lightforce Stegodon is a really powerful card, but I don't think Canvasaur is going to be playable. It doesn't seem very good for a card, I'm not going to lie. There's too many bad options. If you get Rush, you're just fucking pissed. Stealth is fine, Reborn's fine, Divine Shield's fine, Lifesteal, not really great. Poisonous, nah. Wind Fury is really good. Taunt, you're fucking pissed. There's a lot of them. There's only three really good options, then the rest are just really bad. I don't know. Toy Captain Tarim, 5 mana, 3/7. Miniaturized Taunt, Battlecry, set minions, attack, and health. This is the first bad legendary. It's not like expensive, value, useless. It's just bad. Yeah, it's expensive, I guess. It's 5 mana. And then I have CCG and Hemet on here, but I guess Whizbang, but Whizbang's not really the same kind of card. This card just sucks. I mean, like, it's hand buff support, I guess, but you would never run this in a hand buff Paladin. I don't know where you would ever play this card. Reno Paladin doesn't want it, and Reno Paladin sucks ass, so yeah. Fancy packaging, 1 mana, give a minion with Divine Shield +2/+3. Worse than current options, it's just worse than promotion. The only deck you would really play this in is like an odd paladin. Promotion is +3/+3. This is +2/+3. So I don't really see this card doing much of anything. Lesser Opal Spellstone. 2 mana, draw 1 card, upgrades whenever you attack twice. So you have to attack it 4 times for it to draw 3. I just don't think this card fucking does anything. Like, think of it this way. When are you going to be able to attack 4 times in Questline Demon Hunter? You're not. And there's no aggro Demon Hunter that would make use of a card like this. Reno Demon Hunter is not really a deck, especially doesn't attack very often. And this card just doesn't really make the cut anywhere. Woodland Wonders, 5 mana. Summon 2 1/5s with Taunt. Costs 3 less if you have spell damage, so it's 2 mana. You can play this on 1, play this on 2, and that's a gigantic fucking roadblock for aggro decks. Like, a gigantic roadblock. You could, if you play this on 1, Lifebinder's Gift on 2, you can play this and Swipe with spell damage on 3, which annihilates Shadow Priest. Just utterly annihilates them. It's just a really powerful card. This card is contingent on the whole spell damage package working, of course, but I think the spell damage package is pretty good. Frost Lich Cross Stitch. Yeah. 5 mana, deal 4 damage. If it kills it, summon a 3/6. Why is this card 4 mana or 5 mana? I don't know. It probably should be like 4 mana, to be honest. It should be 4 mana to be even an okay card, and it still wouldn't see play. So, yeah. This is obviously supposed to be like a no minion mage, kind of elemental mage-ish support card. It's Frostspell, of course, to go with this card, but it's just fucking bad. 5 mana, deal 4 damage is bad. 5 mana, get a 3/6 is bad. It's just a bad card. Repackage. This is just worse than Psychic Scream. I mean, this is just worse than Psychic Scream. Psychic Scream is really powerful because it makes it so you have to draw the shitty minions, that you shuffled back. And this doesn't do that. You just get a 2 mana package, which at any point you can play. It's like Fizzle. So I don't think the card really does much. Scarab Keychain. 1 mana, 1/1 beast, Battlecry, discover a 2-cost card. This card sucks. Someone tried to argue that this card would be like good in Shadow Priest because they run out of cards. I'm like, dude, this card's fucking atrocious. Why would you don't play bad cards in a deck just because the deck has bad card draw. That doesn't make sense. Like, that does nothing. So, of course this card's unplayable. Crystal Cove. Where's Rogue? Yeah. 4 mana, or 3 mana, give a minion at most +3/+3 location. Huh? It doesn't really have any secondary effects. Yeah, you can... It's also the next minion you summon. It's not on board. So if it was on board, that'd be like maybe okay. Like Cathedral, but more stats, but it's not. It's the next one you summon, so it's really fucking bad. Like, I don't know. This card is just so useless. Blind Box, 2 mana, get 2 demons, outcast, discover them. Card's fucking dog shit. It's a really bad value card, so it's just completely worthless. Mag Theridon, I don't know what it's called. 8 mana, 12/12, dormant for 2 turns. While dormant, deal 3 damage. This card's fucking awful, dude. While dormant, deal 3 damage to all enemies. This card's so bad. Even if you cheat this out somehow, it's still just worse than Xylag. Yeah, it's just worse than Xylag in every way. So, uh, I mean, like, what do I have to say about it? It's fucking 8 mana. The only way you can cheat this out is on, like, turn 6, and it's not better than Xylag. It's not better than Green Rag, so, like, it's just fucking terrible. Yeah. Sandart Elemental, 4 mana, 4/4, miniaturize, battle cry, give your hero +1 attack and move furious turn. Card sees absolutely no play whatsoever. Doesn't do anything that synergizes with Shaman and Wild. Yeah, you could give your Dr. Holiday Frog Staff Wind Fury, but like, why would you do that? Doesn't really do much of anything. That means you have to play a 4 fucking mana card to do it. Yeah, you get the 1/1 to do it again. Woo! It's just useless. Elemental Shaman would probably run this card. Actually, this is really no. Yeah, fine card, no home. The deck sucks. I think that's actually fair for this card. Like, this is actually a very powerful effect. It's just it's tied to Elemental Shaman, and Elemental Shaman is terrible. So it's a give and take, you know. Tabletop role player, 4 mana, 4/3, understated. Miniaturize, battle cry, give a friendly demon +2 attack and immune this turn. This card's awful. There's a card called Minari Mosher that already exists. It's 3 mana, 3/4, give a demon +3 attack and lifesteal for 3 mana. And it's a demon. This card's just a significant downgrade, like in every way. Nestmaker, 3 mana, 1/3, lifesteal, taunt, death rattle. Deal 1 damage to all minions. This is a really good card. It actually synergizes really fucking well with Threads of Despair because it deals the 1 damage twice. This is actually a really good card with that, but you know, so it heals 2 for every minion. But like, I don't know. I mean, this card probably sees play in a lot of control decks just as a stopgap to aggro. It's gonna heal you like I don't know, like 6, 7 health for 3 mana usually. Maybe kill some minions. It kills anything with 1 health, which a lot of those with Pirate Rogue and Shadow Priest have a lot of. So yeah, it's just a pretty good card. Oops. Rainbow Seamstress. Again, this is one of the cards that I wanted to make this tier for. It's not a bad card. 3 mana, 3/3. If you're playing Rainbow Death Knight, gain Lifesteal, Reward, and Rush. You never play this outside of Rainbow Death Knight, obviously. It's just not. Why would you? But Rainbow Death Knight sucks. I've been saying it every single time I get to a Death Knight card. Rainbow Death Knight is just very bad. So this card just doesn't do anything. Origami Dragon. Oh, wow. The most expensive Origami card. It doesn't have Taunt or Rush, so it doesn't fight for the board. And all it does is it steals stats, swap stats, and then emit minion. If this had Rush, probably be okay. Maybe not okay, but it'd be, fine. If it had Taunt, it would still be kind of mediocre, but better. Because you could at least, use this into Miracle Rogue and, go 8/8s. Kill their 8/8, kill another 8/8. That's, not the worst, but it doesn't have Rush or Taunt, so, yeah. Chia Drake, 4 mana, 2/4, dragon, miniaturize, choose 1, gain +1 spell damage, draw a card. Bad. I don't have any Druid cards in the bad tier. That's crazy. I can't find one. Anyway, I mean, come on. Druid has way better access to card draw than a 4 mana card, and then the +1 spell damage doesn't matter because Street Trickster is 3 mana for +2 spell damage. So, yeah, why would you ever play this card? Painter's Virtue. I think it's worse than current options. 4 mana, 2/3 weapon, lifesteal. After your hero attacks, give minions in your hand +1/+1. I think it's just worse than all the current hand buff options. It's kind of the issue with this card. Hand buff is fine. You know, it's not an amazing deck, but it's just like, I don't know why you would play a card like this. Like, yeah, it's a lifesteal weapon, but like, yeah. I mean, if you really want a weapon and hand buff, you could play the Divine Shield guy, or the Divine Shield, like Prismatic Gem Kit or something like that. Or you could play Secret Weapon, or you could play like anything else. I just don't think this card is very good by any means. Cardboard Golem, obviously, I mean, this card's fucking bad. 4 mana, 4/4, Battlecry, increase the duration of auras in your hand, deck, and battlefield by 1. That doesn't do anything. That's like actually just a useless effect. It's just a 4 mana 4/4. Like, that is so useless. Crafter's Aura, 7 mana. At the end of your turn, summon a random 6-cost minion last 3 turns. Yeah, obviously this card is useless. It's 7 mana. You get a random 6 costs, which are pretty bad. Random 6 costs are not great. And like, it's 7 mana, dude. Like, come on. Shining Sentinel. Where are the Shaman cards? 7 mana, 3/7, Taunt, Elusive, Battlecry, Summon, copy this. Elemental Shaman sucks. This card wouldn't even go in Elemental Shaman. This card just actually never goes anywhere. Factory Assembly Bot. It's 10 mana for an effect that isn't really that great on board to cheat out. It's also miniaturized, so cheating it feels bad. 10 mana, 6/7 mech. At the end of your turn, summon a 6/7 mech that attacks a random enemy. I just don't see this card doing anything ever to anyone, so yeah. Blackthorn Outlier, 4 mana, 2/4 at Undead Quillbore. At the end of your turn, deal this minion's attack damage randomly split among all enemies. Yeah, it's supposed to go with all these hand buff cards, but the hand buff cards suck. So, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You'd have to play this as, like, a Blood Unholy or, like, a rainbow deck, which is awful. Like, man. Like, yeah, it's 4 mana, you can play an even DK, but, like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Sweeten Snow Flurry, 3 mana, 3/3. Elemental, miniaturized, Battlecry, get 2 random temporary frost spells. What the fuck? This card would be bad if it said 2 random frost spells. This card would be bad if it was 2 mana. This card is horrible. It's 3 mana, 3/3, no Battlecry. Miniaturize, maybe the Battlecry does something. Maybe, after the miniaturize. Because it's temporary, there's just a chance you won't be able to play the frost spells. And, like, what the fuck is that? Bargain Bin Buccaneer, 3 mana, 3/2 rush combo, so I'm gonna copy this. I mean, like, why would you play this in Pirate Rogue, you know? It's a lot of stats, right? But it's just not actually that great. I don't even think it's worth putting in this tier. I think it's just actually a bad card with all the other Rogue cards. It just doesn't really do anything of value in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's way too expensive to be a good aggro card. It's a combo, so it's not great for removal. Yeah. Giggling Toymaker, 4 mana, 2/1, Death Rattle, summon 2 1/2 mechs with Taunt and Divine Shield. This is probably an okay card, to be honest. I mean, like, I don't have a mage card up here. I mean, it's nothing super crazy. Sorry, but it's just a lot of, like, taunt and mint health that they have to get through for 4 mana. You can cheat this out in Death Rattle Demon Hunter. Oh, man. This is sadly one of the best 4 drops for Death Rattle Demon Hunter to cheat out. So, yeah, that's kind of sad to think about, that this is the best option for Death Rattle Demon Hunter, I'm not going to lie. I don't know. This card just feels like it can't be the worst thing ever to play. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just too slow. It might be too slow, to be honest. And lastly, Papercraft Angel, 3 mana, 2/5. Your hero power costs 0. This is a good card. You play this in... Sorry, you play this in both versions of Shadow Priest, and it's really good there. 3 mana, 2/5, deal 2 damage in aggro Shadow Priest is probably makes the cut, but of course you play this in Reno Shadow Priest, like Reno Priest. This card's just fucking disgusting in that deck. It lets you do your Raza turns if you don't have the old Raza, and it's a good body for an effect like this. It doesn't need the +1 attack, so the +1 health is a lot better since it can help fight reward anyway with the hero power. It's just a really good card. Definitely sees play. Well, that's every single card of the new expansion. Most of them are bad, as always. Most of them are worse than cards that already exist. Most of them are expensive and useless legendaries, or value legendaries, and then a lot of them are just don't have anywhere to go. There's very few cards that I expect to really see play from this expansion. It's like overall a relatively weaker expansion compared to Showdown the Badlands, at least. This is a lot weaker than Showdown the Badlands, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to lie. I rated a lot better the Showdowns cards. If you enjoy, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about these cards below. Never mind. I don't know what I was getting at. Anyway, peace.